What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the AM, guys. Welcome back to 5-Minute Rants. I'm your host, Mike Abernathy, and welcome to the show predicated on the journey of life and business. Hey, guys, real quick, if you don't mind partnering with me to change lives, if you know somebody whose life would be bettered by listening to the show, would you share it with them? I appreciate it. Well, today, guys, I actually want to talk about survivorship bias. And this really comes from an episode I did a while ago that if you're not looking at the problem, you're never going to fix it. And this is actually a technical aspect of looking at the problems. How do we find the problem? And if you don't know what survivorship bias is, I would encourage you to Google it. It is wildly crazy. And it is essentially this, and I'll summarize it right now, is during World War II, there were a group of engineers who were analyzing the bombing planes, the B-17s that were coming back from bombing missions, and they were analyzing about how to apply armor to the planes to better protect the planes and to increase the survivorship or their survival rating of all their bombing planes going out on a run. And the first thought was, hey, look at all this pattern of bullet holes. We see these common, unique pattern of bullet holes. Let's put armor where there's bullet holes. And then after they began thinking about and analyzing it, they realized that the planes that do not return are the planes that get shot in the places without all of the bullet holes. And the story behind this, and the point of, not the story behind this, but the point behind this story is simply this. Oftentimes, the problem is not what is at first obvious. And sometimes information you have is incomplete information, and it is so important to not operate under the assumption that you have full information. If you have full information at all times, you wouldn't have problems in your life. And so part of the process of trying to find the constraint in the company, what do you actually need to fix? What is causing the problem? Because in this story, talking about just the aircraft and the planes in this story, the obvious answer seemed to put armor where the bullet holes were. And when you begin looking at pictures, like, yeah, of course, that's where I put the bullet holes, where the planes are getting shot. And then you realize they only have 50% of the information, because the other information they're missing is with the planes that never came back. And the planes that didn't come back got shot in all the places where there are no bullet holes. And if you think about it, that's how the company works. So oftentimes it's, oh, how do I increase more sales? Well, I need more marketing. Well, that might not be the case. It might be the way that you're selling. It might be a process. It might be the fact that you're not really getting any referrals because you're not keeping promises the way you should. So for instance, another, just a practical example of survivorship bias, I had a maintenance man come to my house the other day. He came over, was working on things. He was great. He was awesome, really friendly, and he was just fixing some stuff. And so as he was fixing things, though, he cared about the technical know-how of how to fix all the problems. And what I cared about was how clean he was in my house, where he took things apart at, where the dirt was, right? He was working on my refrigerator at one point and fixing some things there. And what I cared about was how long the fridge door is going to be open, and whether my food is going to spoil or not, or how it's going to affect my food. And I also care about how clean he is as he's reaching inside my fridge to deal with things and take some stuff apart and things like that. Is it going to affect the food? And so I'm worried about things that he's not even worried about, because his concern, his focus is on fixing the problem. And my concern is about other things that matter to me. And so when you're building business, and when you're building offerings for business, and when you're creating things in business and doing business, it is so important to focus on what the customer wants. And that's oftentimes the information you're missing. So you have the 50% of the information. You can see the bullet holes where you're leaking. You can see the bullet holes on the planes that returned home in the company. You can see all of that. But oftentimes we don't have the other side of the information, which is what our customer holds. What do they want? What do they really care about? And if you can find that, everything's going to change for you in your relationships and partnerships. Everything's going to change. If you can find the other part of the information, if you can really identify the problem clearly, because it's hard, it's not always obvious, and you can find why the company is not growing. Oftentimes it might not be sales. It could be retention, which is radically on the back end of production after the promises are kept. Or how are you keeping people and things like that? It has nothing to do with more marketing. And so anyways, just throwing that out there, some food for thought. I'm out of time, guys, so I'll catch you later. Peace.